Cameron T. Robinson, the athletic, fourth row right.
Jim, when Tanner went down, Pastos came in, just kind of, he played, I think, somewhere around 30 snaps that game. How did you evaluate his game when he got on the field?
I thought Kai had a solid game. I mean, here's a true freshman and really has not had many reps at that nickel position. We had to make that adjustment during the week and trying to look ahead, get him in there at different times. But, you're forced in a situation. Young guy has to step up. I thought he held his own.
The safety spot has been, just the whole room has been banged up the first 5 weeks of the season. Did you guys have moved people in? And how would you evaluate just that room as a whole? I know you guys knew it would be pretty deep coming in, but have they been more impressive than maybe you thought, or with everything going on?
Yeah, I thought they've handled adversity extremely well. I mean, that's our game involves a lot of your success is determined by how you handle adversity, and I think that group has done a great job of it, having to be flexible, move guys around. It's not as easy as it looks, and a lot is asked of those safeties in our defense, and I think they've done a good job.
Let's go far left, Justin Holbrook, WCMH.
Right, was 1 for 11 on third down in that game. You guys are, I think, 11th, 10th in the country in third down. You talk about adversity. That's the part where you see what the defense is made of. Why have you guys been so successful there on third down?
It's just something that we emphasize. It's part of this system. And I actually was disappointed. I just looked at that and saw we were 11th in third down. We certainly have higher aspirations than that. We're doing well, but it is a critical part of our system. So our guys are trained from the beginning on how to hold the line and know where that down is, because to me that's the game of defense, getting the ball back to the offense, and particularly when you have an offense that is as successful as ours, you want to get the ball back to them as quickly as you can. So if it's not by a takeaway, that's all on that third and fourth down. So we're doing well. I'm pleased, but we certainly want to continue to grow.
Front row left, Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Jim, there was a lot of talk about Court Williams in the preseason. I know you guys are extremely deep at safety. What's going on with Court? Do you expect him to have a role in the defense this year?
Yeah, Court has been banged up. He's had some things going on that hasn't given him the chance to fully compete to earn a position. So he's a great leader, and certainly we hope he comes along, but he's not completely healthy. So we need to give him time to get better.
J.K. Johnson, can you just describe his skill set? It seems like he's very confident. I know he's fast. Just describe him as a corner, if you would.
Yeah, I like J.K.'s aggressiveness, number one. His reach, his impact in press coverage, and his competition at the end of the route. I think those are things where J.K. excels. And that derives from having the physical traits and the skills, but like you said, also the confidence. But I like the way he throws punches at the line of scrimmage. That's what we talk about a lot.
Up front row middle, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, you're top 10 in the country. I know you want to be even higher, but given that you're first year coordinator here, players have to learn a whole new scheme. How happy are you with what the progress has been?
I'm pleased. I mean, we have seen some success, but it's always just defense is such a right now proposition with, failure is not an option. So it's just drive, push to be better. Never really look back on any of that until the end of the season when you look back on things. Aside from the plays that didn't go right, I mean, you look at those all the time because you're trying to figure out how to get better. But, like I said when I got here, we don't have 3 or 4 years to put this system in to make it into a premier defense. It's got to happen right now this season, so it's my job to keep pushing it.
What's your biggest concern?
Defense because you can play well, you can play great for a long time in the game, but it only takes one play. You know, it takes one play for something to go wrong or a 50-50 ball to go up in the air. So my biggest concern is that we continue to compete and have that mentality on defense of stopping them on that play, no matter what the score is. You know, we get into some situations where it might be easy to relax, and it's my job to continue to press upon them that stopping people on the next play is a habit. So, like, when it comes time when you need the defense to stop them, you can't just pull that out of your back pocket and say, hey, let's stop them now on this play. It's got to be an attitude. It's got to be an every down thing regardless of the score or where we're at. So that's my biggest concern.
Right behind him, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Seems like this is probably the third season in a row where we've had discussions about the defensive ends and the balance between creating pressure and then actually getting home on sacks. Where is your level of satisfaction right now with where that's at, and how much do you feel like those have to get home in order for this to be whatever your concept of a championship level defense is?
Negative plays, right? Always having the ability to get a negative play, right? Because that sets the offense back behind the sticks, the pressure on the quarterback. You know, I'm pleased with what we're doing up front. I think it's my job to continue to create more opportunities, right? To me, it's a function of coverage and rush working together. It's a matter of, you know, the quarterback having to hold the ball. You know, when they're getting rid of the ball quickly, or, you know, keeping people in the protection, nobody's guys are going to have a chance to get there. So I think that's my job to continue to mix it up and, you know, continue to grow the system. We're not there yet in terms of what we're capable of in installation. So there are a lot of things out there that I'm trying to sprinkle in week to week just to free those guys up more.
Right behind him, Tony Gervin, Buckeye Huddle.
Jim, you've said, and your players say it now too, that what happens on Saturdays is your fault, like the bad things. When did that become your thing?
I think it, you know, back at Duke, you know, where we had a lot of great future doctors and lawyers, not necessarily, you know, just great, not necessarily professional football players, you know, and it was Coach Cutcliffe taught me a lot of things, but one of his things was, you know, a good carpenter never complains about his tools, you know. So then when you go into the game, you know, you need those guys just playing freely if you're going to have any chance, you know, if you're overmatched skill-wise. So, and those were guys that tend to overthink things. So you're just trying to free their mind of that, you know, to go out and play and not worry about making mistakes. Now here, I have great tools, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fixer guy, but what are the best tools, like Craftsman or something? I don't know. I grew up in a row house project, so I can't fix anything. But we have great tools, but now in order to allow those guys to perform, I think it frees them mentally, you know. And it's just a good thing it's like a good thing for me to put in their mind as they go out to the field, you know. Like, hey guys, there's a sale today. I bought all you guys a free pass on any mistakes you make today, you know. If that's like the last thing I say to them, to me, they're like, yeah, I mean, that kind of fires me up. I'm like, okay, yeah, just go out and play. Just go out and play. And I think it's something that, you know, if things happen on that field, you know, I have to look at myself first all the time, you know. And if it's great, then it's the players should get the accolades. If it's not, then I should be the one who's figuring out why it didn't. Because in the end, ultimately, all we are is a product of our habits and our training, right? I know Coach Day believes in that. Coach Mick, in the weight room. That's it. We're a product of our habits and training. So if it doesn't show up on the field right, then it's up to me to look at where it went. But how do you get those guys to perform to their best? I think we all worry about making mistakes, and these are young men who get a lot of pressure from social media or their parents, or everybody's looking at them, every single thing they do. So I want them just to play when it comes to game day. I'll stay on them pretty hard during the week, but, game day, let them play.
Front row right, Tim May, Letterman Road.
Just a quickie throwaway. How many cups of coffee? It is coffee, isn't it? Not anymore. How many cups a day for you?
Not that many, 6. But I'll make the coffee, and then I'll put like a triple espresso on top of the coffee. Yeah. So, but that's just one. That just counts as one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My real question: what are conversations like with Tommy Eichenberg? Is there give and take? Is it just, you can tell he's absorbing everything you're saying? I mean, what is that? Because obviously with us, he's fairly clipped on conversation. But what is it like with you?
Yeah, what you see is what you get. He's clipped with me too. I mean, that's what it's. There's some grunts, and it's like, if something's not right, he'll stop and like barely look at me, but kind of like, and I'll say, you were supposed to do that on this play in practice, right? And he'll go, and go on. I mean, but he's always like, he can see things, which is ideal, right? He can see them as they happen. So if something's not right on the practice field, you'll see him just stop, and he won't really say anything. But I know he's looking for me to give him the answer, like, what the hell just happened there? I mean, and then I'll tell him, and he'll just go back and play the next play.
If you had a guy get it, as you've talked about this in the spring stuff, but if you had a guy get it as quickly as he did with what you're thinking, and what you want out of this defense, et cetera. I mean, is it?
I mean, he's picked it up as quickly as anyone I've ever worked with.
Got time for just a couple more. Front row right, Austin Ward, Rivals, 97.1 The Fan.
Jim, sort of building off your philosophy there for game days, letting guys go play. On the interception for Steele and Zach's tip there, correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't seem like it was the most exotic play call you could come up with, just maybe 2 guys making an individual play to their training. Is that?
Well, we had a pretty good. I mean, there's a little more to it than you seem. Yeah, I mean, there was some bluff going on. There was a great one-on-one matchup that we created for Zach, and he and put him at the right position to take advantage of that. But I did kind of look, bust on Steele after the game. I said, I thought you were a running back here before I got it. No wonder they moved you to linebacker.
But the way that they both sort of took that call, however we want to describe it, and then a hand match, recognizing a tip ball, the way that they executed it after that, I'm sure from your coordinator seat made you feel pretty
Yeah,
good.
it looked smooth. I think it was a medium. I'm thinking third and medium maybe, right? So Steele's position and where he was on the field was very well planned, and he knew exactly where to be. I mean, not that you're predicting the tip ball, but when you talk about areas on the field and where to be, I mean, it is satisfying when it all comes together. But it happens like in a blink, and then there's no celebration for me. There is for the guys on the field, and I want them to have that because you're always trying to process everything that just happened, what they did, what led to us making that play, for the next call. That's what you're working on doing.
Front row middle, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jim, what did you make of Denzel's return after missing a game and just kind of dealing with the hand?
Yeah, he's dealt with a lot. He really has. He's he wasn't healthy a lot during camp, so he missed a lot of reps. He's had things already this season. A hand injury for a corner is a big deal. Because you're constantly jamming receivers or shooting your hand up in the right place to get the ball out. So he's a tough kid. I was really grateful that he wanted to be back and he forced him, he pushed himself to be back. So, in this business for a corner to wanting to get back out there and compete as quickly as possible, that's a big deal. He's going to keep getting better.
In the Arkansas State game, when he gave up some plays, you guys took him out and kind of gave him a breather, then gave him back. This was one where he kept in the rotation. Was that a case of wanting to get him more reps?
Yeah. It's like, hey, you know what? He showed a lot of grit by just being out there, at a position, where in the whole secondary we've had some issues with injuries, and he showed a lot of grit being out there. So he definitely deserved the chance to work his way through it.
Got time for just a couple more. Andy Anders, Buckeye Sports Bulletin, fourth row middle.
Yeah, I had a couple kind of related to my call here. You've called his first step very rare, and the way you guys use him on the defensive line, he's played 1 tech, he's played 3 tech, he's played 5. Is that specific skill what makes him so versatile, or is it something else?
No, that's a big, strong guy with like I said, a great first step, great takeoff. So he's got some things that are hard to coach. So we move him around in different positions to take advantage of that.
He seems to get the most animated after he makes a big play, just with his celebration. What does that bring to a defense, and how important is that for?
Yeah, Mike is definitely one of the guys that brings the juice. He's just high energy, has that personality, that big smile when he makes plays, can keep guys loose, and I think that's a part of having a great defense. You need people like that.
Right next door, Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Jim, aside from the interception play, is there anything still in Steele's game that doesn't look like a linebacker and still looks like he's transitioning? Or when you look at the film, is he a full linebacker now?
No, he's a full linebacker. Steele is. I mean, he's. I joked with. I didn't know him when he was a running back, but Steele is in there. I think I've continued to see improvement even during the season in his tackling. I think everybody has seen that. He's starting to really pick up how to tackle at this level. Which is not like up around the pads. You see, it's not high, it's low. It's single leg takedowns and roll tackles, and it was good. I think Steele's making improvements in that area.
I asked him after the game about having the defensive coordinator as his position coach, and he said he thinks that does make a difference because you're the guy who came up with this defense. Have you noticed that in the past when you've worked with linebackers in particular, that changes things?
Yeah, I think there's a chance for guys to see the forest through the trees, and when I'm in there talking to them, I'm also talking about everything that's around them, so I think it gives them a bigger picture of the defense.
Second row left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Jim, just in your experience, what is the more difficult transition, teaching a defensive tackle to do edge rusher things or an edge rusher to do defensive tackle things?
I think it's an edge rusher teaching them to do defensive tackle things. On the edge, there's some freedom and there's some space. Inside there's nothing but heavy traffic. So anytime you're in a position where you could get a block this way or a block this way, that's you have to be a real warrior to do that.
So watching Zach make plays in there on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's great for him. It's great for his future. It's great for our defense. And it gives people something to think about, too, and plan for.
Second row middle, Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com.
Jim, when you're a coordinator and you're working with new assistants, what are you looking for that tells you, okay, this guy's a good coach, I believe in this guy, and how long does it really take to get a sense of other guys on the staff when you're working with them for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it takes usually a full season, right, until you really, go through the battles together to, you really know each other. like anything else around here at the Ohio State, we don't have a full season. So it's like, we had to get it done right away. So fortunately, when you have veteran assistant coaches like we have on defense, which Coach Day's done a great job of building that staff, you get a sense right away. Because to me, a great coach wants to be, talented at teaching his position, a great listener and learner, right? Because you want someone who can learn your system and then be intelligent enough to know when to see, okay, I know something that I could do in this case, and to bring that up. You know what I mean? So it's not like a debate of the system. It's like, okay, how do you do things, and then where can I add? How can I learn what you do, and then where can I add to that? It's definitely a veteran balance. That I know I've grown to. I think all coaches grow to. When you're young, you're a young man in a hurry. You're always trying to say, hey, I knew that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's change. It's okay. When you have some time and you've seen the battles, you kind of look at the system and you say, okay, this is our system. How can I add to make it better?
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.